500 block of Tejon Avenue regarding a shooting. Witness reports showed that, or said that about 5 to 6 shots were fired. When deputies arrived, they found a white male in the street that was suffering from a gunshot wound. Witnesses also reported at the scene that the suspect, who's been identified as Christopher Gray, fled back into the residence. Deputies continued their investigation on scene. Another victim was taken to Kern Medical Center. Another shooting victim was taken to Kern Medical Center. At this point in time, he's in critical condition. Again, deputies continued their investigation based on the information that we received from the witnesses. The Kern County Sheriff's Office SWAT team was called. In addition to the SWAT team, the Crisis Negotiation team, SWAT team from the Bakersfield Police Department was also called, and we had assistance from the California Highway Patrol as well. Throughout the course of the investigation, again, the information we had is that the suspect was holed up in the house. The bomb squad robot was utilized from an officer safety standpoint to surveil the house, again protecting officers and citizens as well. The bomb squad robot surveilled the area. Deputies eventually went in, or the SWAT team rather, eventually went into the residence, and it was discovered that Mr. Gray was no longer at the scene.
Talk about there was some rumors that went around that he was claiming some sort of Islamic extremism or something like that. We had NBC-LA calling us, asking us about that. Is there any validity to that at all?
Yeah, at this point in time, there's no evidence whatsoever to suggest that Mr. Gray had any ties to any terrorist group or any Islamic or Muslim faction for that matter, so we don't have any evidence to suggest that at this time.
Was it kind of hard that you guys had an active scene out there and you also had a body in the road? You know, so you kind of had to put that homicide investigation, I'm guessing, on hold until the SWAT team was done with theirs? Exactly.
You know, from an officer safety standpoint, yes, there's a victim lying in the roadway. He was already determined to be deceased, but we still had to focus our efforts on, you know, seeing whether or not there was an actual suspect inside the house. You know, once we determined that that wasn't the case, then we're able to tend to the victim in the roadway. You know, unfortunately, the victim was there for some time, but again, the safety of the public as well as the safety of the deputies and the officers on scene is paramount.
What's the relationship between the victim and Gray?
At this point in time, the relationship hasn't been determined. I don't have information on their relationship at this time. Again, motive is up in the air. We're in the very early stages of this investigation, so you know, obviously relationships and motives and other information such as that will be determined at that time.
And again, what was the means of the killing?
Gunshot.
And for both SWAT teams to be called out, sheriffs and police, is that uncommon? Is that common when these kinds of things happen?
It's not necessarily uncommon. I mean, it's always better to have more people there than not enough people, because you can never determine what a situation is going to evolve into. So, you know, the Bakersfield Police Department is obviously very generous with their resources, and we work in connection with one another. So, to say that's unheard of or uncommon, it would not be the case.
And was there something that made the severity of this a little different because there was that body in the road, like you said? Were there other factors that made this a little more difficult, and why it's dragged out until this time? Well,
again, the barricaded suspect is kind of a unique situation. You have to take into account the citizens who, you know, the residents who live next door in an immediate area, so you have to take their safety into account. You have to obviously take into account the safety of the officers involved. So, you know, there's a process that we have to go through, you know, whether that's evacuating people or locking down certain areas of the neighborhood. You know, there's a bunch of different things that go into that. Again, when somebody's barricaded, if you're attempting to talk with them, in this particular case, the suspect was not inside the residence, but we didn't know that for some time. So we're treating it as though he was inside the residence. So, you know, somewhat painstaking, but you know, safety is obviously paramount.
There was a big boom out there at one point. Was that part of the SWAT operations that you explained that?
Yeah, that was part of the SWAT operation. That's, you know, I can't speak specifically as to what the boom was, whether it was a gunshot. I mean, they may have been attempting to breach a window or shoot out a window or something like that, you know, to have the robot, you know, utilize the camera that's attached to it to get in there. But as far as specifics on the information, as far as that goes, I don't have that. No. It was determined that he was not inside the residence.
What was the initial information that led to that home arrest of believe he was in there?
The initial information that we got once we were on scene is that one or more witnesses saw him go into the house and shut the door. Deputies arrived within minutes, and there was no reason for us to think otherwise, so then we proceeded in the manner in which we did, based on the information that we had at that time. Yeah, we have obviously put out an alert, a media alert. We've also posted on the Sheriff's Department or Sheriff's Office Facebook page the next door application that we use to allow or to alert people within the area. So we've utilized social media. We're obviously utilizing print media, and we're obviously utilizing television media as well.
With that Nextdoor app, that was just introduced within the last couple of days.
It's very recent, and again, it's another tool to keep the community informed as to what's going on. We encourage people to, obviously Facebook is a very big social media outlet. Nextdoor is more local, so, we encourage residents, and it can be specific to, whatever neighborhood that we happen to be in. So we definitely encourage the residents of those neighborhoods, get on the internet, check it out, and utilize that. I don't know that. One thing I would like to add, though, is Mr. Gray is considered armed and dangerous. Okay, if you see him, if anybody sees him, we encourage you, do not detain him. Don't attempt to take any action on your own. You can call the Sheriff's Office, 861-3110. If it's obviously an emergency, call 911. You can also utilize the secret witness program.
You got any contact with Gray before? Does he have criminal history or anything?
At this point in time, there's nothing that we found about anything having to do with his criminal history.
Anything else you can include right now?
I think that's going to be pretty much what we got right now. So.
Thank you.
You good? Victor Kesey. I'm a senior deputy.
Oh, sorry.
Keesey. Oh, I stepped all over everybody's
yeah,
dude.
don't worry about it. No big deal.
Senior deputy. You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay.